Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a term that you hear all the time, in every workplace, but one that's, often kind of misunderstood. We're talking about human resource management. So let's get right into what HRM really is and what it means for companies and for you. So think about it for a second. Who's actually behind the scenes building a great team? Who's shaping that company culture that everyone talks about? Well, behind every awesome workplace and every person's career growth, there's a very deliberate strategy. And that strategy, that's human resource management. All right, first things first, what exactly is HRM? Let's nail down a clear definition because I promise you, it's way, way more than that old stereotype of just hiring, firing, and doing paperwork. Okay, so here's the textbook definition. At its core, HRM is about getting things done, hitting those big company goals, but doing it through people. And notice those key action words. It's not just about finding talent. It's about strategically acquiring it, intentionally retaining it, and continuously developing it. It's a really powerful cycle that fuels the whole organization. Here's a simpler way to think about it. If a company's money and machines are assets, then its people, they're its most valuable asset, period. So HRM is basically the game plan for managing that investment to get the best possible return, not just for the company, but for the employees too. So how does this big strategic idea actually work day to day? Well, it's not just one thing. There's a really helpful model that breaks HRM down into its core parts, and it shows you how all the pieces are meant to fit together. And here it is, the human resource wheel. I think this visual is just perfect because it shows that HRM is a complete system. See all those 9 areas on the outside? Each one is like a spoke on the wheel, a specific, absolutely crucial job that HR professionals deal with every single day. So let's look at a few of these spokes, right? Selecting and staffing. Well, that's about getting the right people in the door, but it totally doesn't stop there. Once they're hired, training and development kicks in to help them grow. Compensation and benefits make sure they're paid fairly. And you've got things like employee assistance to support people when things get tough. You can see how each spoke is connected, keeping that whole wheel turning smoothly. But these spokes aren't just a to-do list. Nope. They're all working towards a central purpose. And this brings us to the big question, why bother? Why do companies put so much effort into all this? What's the end game? The answer is right there, smack in the middle of the HR wheel. Every single one of those 9 functions, everything we just talked about, is designed to improve these 3 things: the quality of life for employees, the overall productivity of the company, and the organization's ability to adapt and be ready for whatever's coming next. Let's just zoom in on that first goal for a sec. Quality of work life, that's not just about a decent paycheck. As the source material puts it, it's about making work genuinely rewarding. This means giving people some freedom in how they do their jobs, autonomy, recognizing what they do well, and giving them real chances to grow their careers. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Isn't this just the old personnel department with a fancier name? And that's a totally fair question, but there's a really, really important difference. HRM is a major evolution from how we used to think about people at work. This chart makes it crystal clear. Personnel management, that was the old school way. It was often seen as bureaucratic, mainly an administrative task, and it was usually just focused on non-managers. HRM, on the other hand, is dynamic, it's strategic, its scope is way bigger, it applies to everyone, and it's woven right into the company's core strategy. So let's be super clear on this. HRM is not just putting a new label on an old job. It's a complete shift in mindset. It's moving from seeing people as a cost you have to manage to seeing them as an asset you need to develop. It's a whole new way of looking at the relationship between a company and its people. Okay, so if HRM is this big strategic thing, how does a company even know if it's working? How do you measure success? Let's check out one last model that really helps answer that question. This is called the 4 C's model, and it's a simple but really powerful checklist. It just asks 4 key questions. First, competence. Do we have the right people with the right skills? Second, commitment. Are our employees motivated and dedicated to doing great work? Third is congruence. Do our employees' goals line up with the company's goals? And finally, cost effectiveness. Are our HR policies actually smart for the bottom line? And when you bring it all together, that's really the goal, isn't it? A great HRM strategy doesn't just fill empty chairs. It builds a workforce that is skilled, dedicated, and totally aligned with where the company is trying to go. Which leaves us with a really big question for the future, right? As things like automation and AI continue to shake up the workplace, What happens to the human part of human resources? I think managing people strategically, the truly human side of business, might be more important than it's ever been. What do you think is next? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.